No More Room in Hell 2's gameplay covers topics that may be uncomfortable for some people. Viewer discretion is advised. No More Room in Hell 2 is an incredibly fun, but a little hard to understand game. The game has a rather steep learning curve, and if you don't understand how to approach the game, you are not going to have fun. I hope that by the end of this 3-part tutorial, that you will find No More Room in Hell 2 just as fun as I do. Part 1, this part, is going to be a tutorial on all of the basic mechanics, basically teaching you how to play the game on a fundamental level. The second video will be a kind of tips and tricks video. That's going to be along the lines of, say, map knowledge, or looting priorities, or teamwork, or tips and tricks that veteran players already know, and new players should learn pretty quickly. The final video is going to be a playthrough session. I play through a match on hard, and I voice what my thoughts are as we both watch the video together. With the introduction out of the way, I am Captain Lucia Flora, and the training session begins now. No More Room in Hell 2 is a game about being deliberate. Every part of the game, from the movement speed, to stamina management, to inventory size, to permadeath, is designed to make you consider every action. If you do not act deliberately at all times, you are going to die. Every time you choose to fight or avoid a zombie, every second you spend looting, anytime you choose to pick one weapon over another, every action needs to be deliberate. This isn't a game where you're going to be planning for half of it. But if you don't know why you're doing an action, you should not be doing that action. Another major aspect of this game is cooperative play. You should not think of yourself as a solo player. You should think of yourself as part of a team. Everything you do should benefit the team. Finding supplies is not just your supplies, it's the team's supplies. Assisting your teammates, whether they need ammunition or health or infection pills, they are going to complete an objective, whether they're under attack by zombies, everything should be done with the best intention for the group. Another important thing, there is no literal time limit to complete a mission, but there are pressures that keep adding up to encourage you to progress through the map as quickly as possible. The first being limited resources. The longer you're in a map, the more damage you take, the less health resources you have to go around. Eventually, through attrition, you're going to die. The second is infection. When you're infected, you have a 5-minute timer before you die. Pills will only delay that, and there are very few, if any, cures in a match. As soon as someone is infected, there is a time limit until they die. On beginner, that's not an issue because you respawn. On normal, it's sort of an issue because if you die late in the match, you won't be able to respawn before extraction, but if you die early enough, you'll still be able to respawn. On hard and nightmare, there is no respawning. Your death is permanent. An infection is almost always a guaranteed death that can only be delayed. If you stand around for 5 minutes organizing loot, or you run around in circles because you don't know where to go, all you're doing is running down the infection timers. And I'm pretty sure it's already happened to you already, where your team has gotten lost and you've run out of pills and someone's died to infection. And if you had just gone the correct way, they might have survived because you would have completed it within that time limit. Sprinting through the map in a speedrun is not always the best option, but standing around and organizing inventory for 15 minutes is just as bad, if not worse. There are several things the game teaches you in the tutorial, such as how to find and do objectives that is important for everyone. Because of the permadeath nature of the game, mistakes are punished harshly, and the tutorial does a fairly good job of teaching you the bare bone basic mechanics. In addition, there is a training range where your responder cannot die permanently and allows you to interact with pretty much everything in the game, from all of the weapons to healing items to all of the loot to getting infected and how to handle it, how to do every single objective. The training range is fantastic for experimenting or practicing. If you aren't sure how to do something, the training range is either going to teach you or give you the place to practice and learn. And for the rest of the video, we're going to be spending a lot of time on the training range. Alright, so here we are in the training range. And the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to pause the game, go to Options. You'll see Game UI Visibility on the very first tab. Go down to In-World Objective Markers and In-World POI Markers. Turn those to Always Show. Now, you will always have the red and yellow markers visible when you're looking towards them. You still have to pull up your compass in order to see the ones off screen, but now you will always know where they are. This is very helpful in locating objectives when you are running from zombies and can help you plan your routes going forward. The most important thing in this game is stamina. Stamina, it will determine whether or not you live or die. Offense and defense both rely heavily on stamina. Stamina is needed for 4 critical things. The first thing required is for attacking with a melee weapon. If you are out of stamina, you cannot defend yourself with a melee weapon. The second thing is shoving and kicking. A shove is a quick way with anything in your hands to interrupt a zombie and stun them for a very short amount of time. A kick does the most stagger damage in the game. It is guaranteed to knock down almost every single zombie. The kick will save your life. The kick will create openings. The kick costs a lot of stamina. A mistimed kick will get you killed. Third, you need stamina to sprint. Sprinting is fantastic because it puts distance between you and zombies. The zombies can't get near you, they can't hurt you. If you do not have stamina, you cannot outrun the zombies. And if you can't outrun the zombies, they can hit you. Last, and most importantly, stamina stops you from getting bit. If you are grabbed by a zombie and you are low or out of stamina, you don't get to mash to escape the grab, they just automatically bite you. And a bite is a guaranteed infection. Stamina is critical. Stamina is king. Stamina is the most important resource, even above health. Good stamina management will allow you to stay alive. Bad stamina management, doesn't matter how much health you have, you will die. Alright, so now we're going to talk about how to defend yourself. There are 3 ways you can attack. The first is quick attacks. Your first attack, and then alternating left and right attacks, are considered quick attacks. They do small amounts of damage, but they come out pretty quickly. The second way is strong attacks. To strong attack, just attack in the same direction. Strong attacks do more damage, but consume more stamina. And last, we have charge attacks. Hold down the attack button to charge an attack, and let it go to do a devastating hit. You can chain these by holding down the attack button after you release it to quickly go back into the charge attack animation. Now, the starting weapon, the mallet, is bad. It's really, really, really bad. It has short range, and it doesn't do a lot of damage at all. The only thing it's good for is, well, staggering enemies, but it's still not great. Let me show you. As you can see, it just takes so much hits to take out a zombie, which is fine. It's your starting weapon after all. But it's important to recognize that you will not be killing a lot of zombies in the horde. This is also because hitting multiple zombies with a single attack consumes stamina for every zombie you hit. And there is damage drop-off for every zombie you hit beyond the first. It makes it difficult to effectively clear a horde with very weak weapons. Now, melee weapons are divided into 4 categories. They are divided into one-handed, two-handed, sharps, and blunts. One-handed weapons are very quick and very light. You have your flashlight out, and they don't take a lot of stamina while swinging. A two-handed weapon, you can't have your flashlight out. Activating your flashlight puts it away. They take a lot of stamina per swing. And depending on the weapon, they can be very slow. But they make up for that by having higher damage values and longer reach. Now, the other difference is sharps and blunts. Is that a blunt melee weapon will stagger zombies on hits, which will interrupt them and knock them down quickly. However, it doesn't kill them as quickly. Now, sharp melee weapons will not interrupt zombies, but generally do more significant damage. Additional difference is in the power type. Sharps have wide, sweeping power attacks. Meanwhile, a blunt has a overhead power attack. Learning to fight in melee combat is important because your melee weapon will never run out of ammo. In addition, there are melee weapons that are very effective even if you aren't, quote, built for them. For example, the fire axe is always a one-hit kill in the head as a charge attack even if you aren't built for it. Now, there's probably going to be a meta of what weapons are good and what weapons are not. If you're watching this video, you probably don't need to worry about the meta. Instead, look at it this way. Blunt weapons are safer and will knock zombies down, but do less damage. Meanwhile, sharp weapons are more risky, but do significantly more damage. There is no wrong choice. If you want to use one-handed blunts, one-handed sharps, two-handed sharps, go ahead. And sometimes some weapons are going to be better in different situations. Let's talk zombie types. An important thing to note is that on normal, hard, and nightmare, zombies have the same HP, meaning that a walker on all those 3 difficulties will take the same amount of hits from a melee weapon. The only difference is that it spawns more of them and they hit harder. There are 3 types of zombies, in addition to a modifier for zombies, and then the added randomization. So the 3 types are Walker, they're slow, they try to grab you, they have 100 HP. Easy to deal with single, tough to deal with in hordes, very, very dangerous. Next up is Runners. They are called Runners because they run. They're very fast. They will keep up with you if you are sprinting. They have the same health as walkers and just get up faster than getting knocked down. If there is a single runner, do not panic, do not be afraid. Stand your ground, kick his ass, literally, and while he's on the ground, beat him over the head, or shoot him. The problem is when runners come up in a swarm of hordes of walkers, because now you're trying to manage something that can outrun you while also being slowly chased down. This is a shambler. As you can see, they look putrid and gassy. Shamblers are dangerous for 2 reasons. The first is the gas cloud they leave behind on death can infect you, But it can also spread to other zombies, and a zombie that is infected with the gas cloud can deal more damage. Also, when they howl, they summon runners, but that does make them dangerous. Now, there is something interesting about Shamblers, and that is on Nightmare. On Nightmare, so many runners spawn already that the Shamblers don't really increase the number of running zombies. In addition, the gas cloud has such a high chance to infect on Nightmare, in addition to the very strong zombies getting even stronger passing through the gas cloud, that you'll notice that people don't tend to kill Shamblers on Nightmare, because the gas cloud they leave behind is a much bigger detriment than summoning an additional runner when 15 have already spawned. And finally, you have Prime Zombies. Prime Zombies are covered in blood, so they're very easily recognizable. Prime Zombies have more health and deal more damage. You can have Prime Walkers or Prime Runners. There's also variant zombies, such as the Fireman and the Construction Worker. They have helmet protection. But, see? It just survives a headshot because of the helmet protection. This also applies to firearms. If a firearm doesn't have penetration power, it will not go through the construction helmet or the fireman's helmet, and you'll have to damage it first. There's also two types of armored zombies. The Riot Zombies and the National Guard Zombies. The National Guard Zombies have massive stagger resistance. You can't just kick them down. It takes significantly more. Their helmets are also very strong. 50 HP. So literally, it just increases the amount of damage you need to a zombie's head by a half. So these zombies are a bit better. Worse, depending on how you look at it. Now, their helmets are weaker and they don't have as much stagger resistance, but they are also a problem. And it's important to note, any of those variants can spawn as runners, or primes, or prime runners. You don't know fear until you hear the pitter-patter of footsteps and turn around, and there's a prime National Guard zombie running at you. Okay, so now I've covered all of that, what do you actually do to fight zombies? Well, this is your best strategy for zombies. Ready? You watching? That's it. Zombies will spawn infinitely. So there's no point in killing them. So just knock them down and run. There you go. Problem solved. But you have to fight them. It's important that you don't get back into the corner. Feel yourself get back in the corner, just run. Save your stamina. Kicks will knock down at most 3 zombies. A shove only interrupts 1. Keep your distance. Keep your distance, stay to the open, create space. Also be aware of how much it takes to stagger a zombie. And the range of your weapon. Oh, see, I'm out of stamina. This is not good. Running out of stamina creates a vicious cycle, as you just saw. Being out of stamina means you have a stamina delay. It takes a second for stamina to start recharging, but then you want to kick to create space, which then drains your stamina. It's a vicious circle. You never want to run out of stamina in combat. Something that was recently brought to my attention is that when you shove or kick, you have iframes. It kind of works like a parry. You just flat out ignore the damage from the zombie that's trying to hit you. The kick will ignore all damage. The shove only affects zombies that are trying to hit you. Next up is firearms. There is a lot of firearms in this game, and the firearm system, while not complicated, can take a second to get used to. So the first and most important thing is that a firearm weighs the same whether or not it is loaded or has attachments. So this rifle that has no attachments and no ammo in it weighs 2.5 kilograms.
Grab the AR.
Open it up and you can see that it's 1/4 of my weight. Now this weapon has a bunch of attachments, as you can see from the flashlight, the suppressor, the reflex sight, and has 31 rounds.
Grabbing this AR.
It still weighs 2.5 pounds, 1/4 of my inventory. Each bullet has an individual weight, but there is a base amount of weight that a cartridge will take up in your inventory. As you can see, a single round of 5.56 NATO will take up 0.5 kilograms. And 20 rounds will also take up 0.5 kilograms. But 21 will take up 0.52, which means anywhere between whether it is 1 or 20 will take up the same inventory space. But once you start getting more, that inventory space starts getting larger. But that also means having 10 bullets of 7 different types is going to take up way more inventory space than you'd expect, because you're taking up essentially 20 rounds of each inventories of each type of bullet than you are the individual bullet weights themselves. Or the amount of minimum bullets needed per ammo type is different. For example, with 22, you could have almost 35, and it will be the same as picking up 1. So you can see all of these different smaller ones are just the same. For 9mm, it's 20. As you can see, 35, 35. You can see with Winchester, 11 is 50, but 13 is 52. But then this forces you to really think about the ammo you're picking up. You want to specialize in 1 or 2 ammo types instead of trying to carry as much ammo from as many types as possible. This combines with the weight of the weapon itself. If you're carrying an M7 and the 590, M14, and then you start trying, you can't even carry, look, even just doing that, I can't carry all this ammo. So, pick up some ammo. Look at that, it is just, you cannot carry a lot of ammo for, that's not even counting things like, if I had some melee builds. Let me grab some stuff.
Grab the AR.
So, a typical inventory, I've got a one-handed melee weapon, I've got some medical supplies, I've got a radio, and I've got ammo. I've only got 23 rounds for this, and I got 20 shotgun shells. So I'm just gonna, I can't pick up any shotgun. This is what I'm talking about. This ammo weight system means you really can't carry a whole bunch of ammo types and still have inventory to carry everything else. So you really only want to specialize in 1 or 2 ammo types and leave the rest for your teammates. Now, the effectiveness of ammo types is also something to think about. 22 is the least effective. It takes a lot of bullets to kill, and has pretty bad damage drop-off in accuracy. Actually, that might be using. Now you can compare this to bolt-action rifle, which is not only a one-shot headshot, if you can hit it, but will also penetrate through a helmet. This means that the different weapons have different uses. The best advice I can give for weapons and ammo, just as a rule of thumb, is if you do not have a specific gun build, take what people are not using. But if you are using a specific build, then just ask. Say, hey, I'm running a 5.56, does anyone have any rifle ammo for me? Or, I'm running shotguns, can y'all give me shotgun ammo? To equip a weapon attachment, pull out the weapon, and then press the Examine Weapon button. Pull it up, and you'll be able to see all of the compatible attachments, the description of the gun, the ammo it takes, etc., etc. For pistols, you need a small suppressor. You cannot put a heavy suppressor on there. You cannot attach a long gun flashlight, and you need a micro reflex or micro holographic sight. You can't put on regular sights on there. Put them on, and there you go. If you drop the gun, the attachments will stay with it. Shotguns can't equip suppressors at all, but they can equip underbarrel flashlights and holographic sights. Cannot do long-range sights. The SMG comes attached with a flashlight already. It can equip regular sights and large suppressors. Or any full-length rifle uses a large suppressor, a flashlight, and can equip the high-powered hunting scopes. Now, it is important to note that the suppressor, while suppressing the shot and making it so zombies don't hear them, it does make the weapon have a faster drop-off. It does less damage. Now, it should be noted that a couple weapons can't equip attachments. The Model 13 cannot equip attachments. The Fiera DB12, the double-barreled shotgun, cannot equip attachments. Now let's talk about explosives. Frag grenades, pipe bombs, Molotovs, proximity IEDs. So frag grenade is pretty straightforward. Press attack, hold it down, you'll prime it, and then let it go. Pretty big explosion radius, will blow up pretty much everything you want it to. Now, pipe bomb has a smaller explosion radius of a frag, but
Y'all better dodge!
it pulls zombies. Molotov doesn't do a lot of direct damage, but it lights the zombies on fire. Works as a good area denial tool. Also, it's much quicker to throw. Fair to say. Compared to a frag grenade.
I'm tossing it!
Now, the IUD is special because you don't throw it, you place it. Holding down attack button will show you where you're going to place it on the ground. You let go, and you set it down. Zombies come to chase you. Zombies come to chase you. And then explosion. It's a pretty big explosion. But you know, killing one zombie like that isn't great. So there's a trick. You do this. Just set it under zombies. After it primes, boom. You can do this to use it as an improvised frag. And I find that's a lot better than leaving it around as a trap. Because it's a pretty big boom, and you put it right where you want to. So, the two medical supplies are bandages and a med kit. A mass casualty kit you can set on the ground, and it'll drop a bunch of supplies. Bandages heal 25 HP, medkits heal 100. The base responder HP is 100. So when you go to heal,
Look out!
you enter an animation, you're stuck in it for a few seconds, and then boom, heal. To see your health, pull up your compass, and it's the heartbeat monitor on the bottom of the screen. The more injured you are, the less of the bar is filled, and the color gradually goes to red. Alright, let's talk infection. You can get infected in one of 4 ways. The first is taking damage. Anytime a zombie hits you, you have a chance to get infected. As long as you're above 50 health, the chance is reduced. Below 50 health, you have a much greater chance. Because of this, you want to stay at as high health as possible at all times. Use a bandage whenever you get hit. Use a medkit when you start getting low. Do not risk being low on health. If you are low on health, or if you even go down, there's a high chance you'll get infected. The second thing is a bite. When a zombie grabs you and you don't mash out of it, or if a zombie grabs you when you're at low enough stamina, the zombie bites you. The bite is a guaranteed infection. The third are shamblers. Shamblers emit a gas cloud when they die. Standing in that gas cloud has a chance to infect you, for as long as you are in it. The lower the health, the higher the chance. Killing a shambler and running through the gas cloud can lead to infection. To combat infection, you have 2 options: phalanx pills and experimental gene therapy. Pills are pretty straightforward. Press the button, you use it.
Be my eyes are sick.
Now, the pills do not stop the timer. They reset it. So if you were to just stand here and take pills,
Keep an eye out.
you would consume all of these pills
Just don't let nothing sneak up on me.
and not actually reduce the time at all.
I
A
ain't no
single
druggist,
bottle of
but
pills
I
has
think
3
these pills
uses.
for the plague. Eyes peeled for me, you sick.
As you can see, there's nothing stopping you from just repeatedly
Cover me a minute.
eating pills.
I think these are pills for the plague.
Now, another interesting thing is that you will use the pills in the order you pick them up. So, I'm gonna set down.
Just don't let nothing sneak up on me. Keep guard for me.
This bottle has 1 more use.
Just don't let nothing sneak up on me.
This bottle has 2, and this bottle has 3. So, I'm gonna pick up the 2
I
bottle,
got pills.
then the 3 bottle, then the 1 bottle.
Eyes peeled for me, you sick. Y'all keep lookout.
That's the 2.
Keep going for me. Keep an eye out. Cover me a minute.
And that's the 3.
Keep them eyes wide for me.
And that's the 1. The other option is experimental gene therapy. Now, the important thing is that you can use this before or after you get infected. To use it, you activate it once, at which point a timer appears, showing you that the cure is sensitizing. It takes about 25 seconds. You can see the progress on the actual thing. But as soon as it's ready, even if you have something else, it will tell you. So then you equip it, and then use it. And you are now cured of an infection and immune to further infection for the rest of the match. Now here comes the big question. When do you use this? The best time to use this is when you get infected. And the reason is pretty straightforward. If you cure yourself of infection, then make a mistake and end up getting killed by zombies because they beat you over the head until you stop breathing, then being immune to the infection didn't help you. Meanwhile, another person who is infected no longer has the ability to cure themselves of the infection. So the, quote, correct way to use it is to give it to someone who is infected and let them cure themselves with it. But this is a game with permadeath. Your character can die and you'll lose all the time and investment you have in them. In which case, I can understand if you want to use it immediately after picking it up. I wouldn't blame you. It really is a selfishness versus selflessness option. I would just recommend holding on to it until someone gets infected. You know, teamwork makes the dream work after all. And yes, it will always look like this. This is very noticeable. You should always try to pick this up. So how do you know if you're infected? The first sign is coughing. If you hear coughing, whether yours or someone else, it's best to do an infection check and see if you can take pills. You can't take pills if you're not infected. If you are infected, it will give you the option to take pills, but you don't have to take them immediately. The second sign is visual and auditory hallucinations. As you play the game, you'll come to recognize them. Some of the more common ones are the screen will get visually distorted, you'll see arms coming out of the wall, you'll be covered in bugs, you'll hear disembodied whispers, pools of blood will seem to float into the air. If the game suddenly goes from zombie horror to psychological horror, you're probably infected. The next sign is your voice changes. It sounds like there's a second voice coming out at the same time. It makes your voice distorted. It's incredibly obvious.
Really simplifies things out here when you don't gotta worry about, like, credit card debt. Why do they always go for me? I taste so bad!
The next step is you start coughing hard, as in it sounds like you're trying to cough up a lung. Is that a phrase that'll transfer well? Or compared to previous coughing, it's obvious you're coughing much harder and you're doing it much more often. The final sign is you will have red veins appearing in your vision. That is the sign you have less than 30 seconds before you die. At that point, if you do not actively have pills and no one else has pills, you are as good as dead. Not even the gene cure will be able to save you because of the time limit. Which then begs the question, what do you do if you are infected and no one has pills or a cure? Well, the first thing is you can find emergency escape hatches. You can see them on the map by the down arrow pointing into a box, and when you get near them, they will beep. You interact to open the hatch, you climb down the ladder, you go into the room, and you will abandon the mission. If you abandon the mission, you will get no rewards, no currency, no experience, nothing. But your character will survive. So if you are infected, and you don't want to lose the character, this is a viable option. The second option is why there is a content warning at the beginning of the game. If you have a gun with at least one bullet in it, and you do not want to come back as a runner, you can press K, and then primary fire. That will stop you from coming back as a runner. You will still die, but at least your team won't be harassed by another zombie. If you ever want to know how to do any of the objectives, in the training area, if you look to your left, there is a room. In this room are every single objective. It teaches you how to use them, such as
Security off.
turning
I can do that.
such as turning off the alarm to stop the zombies from being attracted to it, how to tune the radio, how to figure out what the access code is, what these things do and how they work, what that is, how to do this thing, that thing, this. It just teaches you how to do all of it. Now, to pick locks, you have one of two options. The first
Okay, yeah,
is to
I'm on it.
access
Looking
it.
at me.
and find the pins. You have to press them in the right order. It's trial and error. Now, as you can see, when you leave and come back, the pins will stay set. However, if there's a zombie trying to bite you, instead of trying to pick the lock, just do this. A single shot from any gun, even a 22, will immediately break the lock. Let's talk about looting. Looting is the most important thing you'll be doing in this game. It is the thing that will save your life, and it is the thing that will get you killed. When you are looting, the best advice is to loot smart, loot fast, loot for the team. These are supplies. They have no weight, so you can pick them up, and nothing will matter. The size of them determines their value. Large ones give more value, and you can see how much supplies you're holding by opening up your inventory, and on the right you'll see team supplies. That'll tell you how much team supplies are in total and how much you're carrying. This is different. This gives you 300 supplies, but has weight. A note about critical supplies. When you complete a match, there is a hard cap on the number of supplies you can bring back. Typically, it's around 600 on normal. However, critical supplies do not count towards that cap. So you could get the 600 from normal map supplies and an additional 300 from critical supplies. I once finished a match where we had 4 critical supplies for 1,200 tickets, in addition to the 600 for beating the map. These are important. You want them, keep them in your inventory if at all possible. Next up, you have a bunch of passive items. These items you do not use, but as long as they're in your inventory, you can gain benefits from them. The satchel is the most important. The satchel increases your carry weight. The satchel weighs 5.5 kilograms, but increases your carry weight by 2.5 kilograms. So picking up the satchel just gives you a flat plus 2 kilograms to weight. The ranger boots reduce your footsteps and sounds by jumping and falling by 50%. Watch. Noise is very important. We'll talk about that later. Just know that these boots, or 0.5 kilograms, make you much stealthier. Body armor is a damage resistance. Wearing it, you will take less damage. It's pretty straightforward. The adrenaline shot increases your maximum stamina. As long as it's in your inventory, it gives you a significant boost to your stamina. You can sprint farther, you can swing your weapon more often. It's a very good benefit. So to discuss the nailer, we need to discuss barricade. To barricade, you have to have barricade boards in your inventory, and you go up to a window or a door, and you hold down the interact button. Takes about a second. But you have the nailer, it's almost instantaneous, allowing you to very, very quickly barricade doors and windows. Now, it's important that I say this. Barricading can grief your team. Can't get in that door. That's the way to go. When you barricade it, your team's gonna have to stand there and just have to break every individual board before they can get through. The revive syringe is amazing. Okay, but if you go down with the revive syringe, a prompt will appear to use it, and you can use it, and you'll get right back up. Now, in addition to a lot of the combat and passive items, there's a couple other things. You have an ammo crate that you can deploy, and it contains 8 boxes of random ammo. There is the mass casualty kit, discussed in the medical section, which will always drop a health kit or bandages and 2 pills. Then you have lights. The cool thing about the lights is that when you equip them, It provides light in a radius around you. But then you can also deploy them, or just drop them, to create light. The deployable radio is fun. You place it down. And it starts making music. And the music draws zombies to it. You can use it as a distraction, or to gather up the zombies to then do this.
Lighten 'em up!
There's one item I do want to talk about. It is the most important item in the game, but not for the reason you think. The flashlight battery. The flashlight battery is less than worthless. Proper flashlight management will allow you to never run out, so you will never need to use one. In addition, if you're using a long gun and you find a long gun flashlight, that flashlight has infinite battery. If you're running a two-hand build where you don't keep your flashlight often, you will never run low on flashlight. A one-handed build, the flashlight likes to turn on randomly, so it takes a little more management, but that's fine. And on beginner and normal, when you run out, the flashlight just flickers a bit. It doesn't actually just completely shut off. And flashlight batteries spawn all over the place. Running low on flashlight battery, just go find one, pick it up, throw it in your flashlight, and move on. So why do I say they're less than worthless? Picking up a flashlight battery takes up inventory space that you can spend on something like bullets or bandages, and you're never going to need the flashlight battery. Do not pick them up. Attention sailors and passengers, Day 1 training is complete. If you wish to join the crew of the Revenge for more trips and trainings, press the subscribe button, and press the bell if you wish to be notified when we set sail. If you wish to remain a passenger, thank you for joining us on this training excursion today. I am Captain Lucia Flora of the Revenge, and I hope to see you in the next training adventure. Be excellent to each other.